When designing a game, one needs a way to somehow visualize and plan what is going on in it, how people are playing, and what mechanics actually exist or need to. This is usually done through a mental model we call gameplay loops. You see a goal, do the necessary actions to complete it, receive feedback for what you've done, and repeat. If you break it down, every game is a collection of gameplay loop layers of varying complexity, happening and repeating over the course of different time frames. As an example, let's take Call of Duty multiplayer. In the basic moment-to-moment gameplay loop, you move, aim, shoot, kill, repeat. You can also die, but that doesn't change the loop, it just breaks it. And yes, there are strategic layers that affect your decisions where you move, aim, how you approach the enemy, but those are just the different ways to engage with the most core elements. Now, the kill step leads to the roughly 5-10 minute match loop above it. If we take the team deathmatch mode as an example, you get points for kills. Points lead to kill streaks lead to different activated abilities which, when utilized, can allow you to get more kills, ergo points. And again, you might see that there are details that are not mentioned, for example what exact abilities are there, but this doesn't matter for the structure of the loop. When you get enough points, you win the match, which leads to a progression loop above all of this, in intervals ranging from 10 minutes to roughly an hour, depending on how far in you are. In this loop, you get XP, then level up, which leads to an unlockable reward, which allows you to customize your classes, which changes up how you play in the next match. And these are the loops of Call of Duty multiplayer in a nutshell, and also the main reason why online play became so popular in this franchise. Great, polished design is important, but it is smartly structured loops that are going to keep players consistently engaged. Now, this example doesn't show all kinds of loop manifestations that exist. For example, loops don't have to be circular, they can have other more complex structures. Some loops influence each other, some are separated, others are nested, there are parallel loops, and so on. And all loops repeat at different time intervals, which is another important factor to consider when structuring your game. There is really a big number of configurations, but for the purposes of this video they aren't important. What matters is to showcase how to visualize what your players are going to be actually doing in your game. Now, you might be tired of hearing me say this over the course of the past videos, but gameplay loops are also not the actual design of any particular feature or mechanic. That said, they are high-level design of your project as a whole. You use loops to understand how the game is actually going to be played, but you don't have to define all of them from the get-go. If we return to our ongoing overall topic of establishing the creative direction, what you need to settle down before going out of pre-production is your core gameplay loop. Now, mind you, core doesn't necessarily mean that it is the most basic second-to-second set of actions that you'll be doing, but the most important. For example, the core loop of the first Assassin's Creed is approach, assassinate, escape, which is a loop at a more mission layer rather than the core mechanics one. Though in this case you still need to think about what your core mechanics actually are, of course. And as mentioned in the previous video, usually this process goes hand in hand with defining what are the core pillars of the game, so you have to make sure that both fit well and don't contradict each other. And like with pillars, a very good exercise for really getting loops is to just start breaking down in a notebook what you're actually doing in the games you like, what loops there are, how often they repeat, how many layers, and so on. If you have any particular questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section or join our Discord servers. In our next video, we're going to talk about defining the fantasy and context of your game. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button to know when it comes out. A special thank you goes of course to my patrons, and if you want to support my channel, feel free to do so at patreon.com/farlands. Thank you very much.